Surrounded by state-of-the-art precision engineering machinery, in the outskirts of Nairobi, we met with Ciiru Waweru Waithaka, serial entrepreneur and founder of children's brand Funkidz. Determined and poised to be Africa's first global children's brand, the Edition team went out to ask the central question: what does it take to be globally competitive? Discussing the opportunities of greater trade across Africa, the need for cross-industry exchange programs, she shares with us what she calls her Crush Company of the Week, and we even get a preview of what other businesses Ciiru sees herself venturing into in the future.
I think I'm a visionary. I exist outside of planet Earth. I'm a creative, and I love what I do. And I really, really love my country and my continent.
What has been the vision of the organization, and has this changed with time?
Definitely. However, it took me a year before we started to map out what I imagined Funkidz would be as a children's brand. Most people imagine we only make furniture, but the bigger brand will have probably 7 or 8 sub-brands in it. We have the Funkidz Tech, we're into textiles, we're going to have an FMCG part of us, etc. So for us, it's big, big vision. Most businesses, all sorts of challenges happen. I think it's literally through grit, tears, blood that we're still here, and hope and belief in ourselves. But we know that we can conquer this, and manufacturing is not a 1 year, 2 year. It's long term, it's long haul. So we keep saying this, just strap in, it's going to be a long ride, but we're starting to see things getting better and brighter.
Walk us through the journey from conception to now of this organization.
From conception, literally conception, we're expecting our child as well. And I said, how come we don't have amazing children's furniture around us? There's a lot of stuff we see online, not saying that there isn't any, there is. But what I thought was not amazing enough. And as a creative, of course, you can say that. Then the challenge began to say, okay, but how are you going to make it? I can design, but I don't know how to manufacture. Fast forward, and I went and studied carpentry in Eastlands.
You had never ever studied?
Well, the 844 system, at least I had a bit, but I never imagined I'd be using what I did in school today in my life at its most basic. So we did that for a bit and realized the techniques we were learning is not together with this century. So I then had to research about modern furniture manufacturing techniques, etc. Fast forward, that's why we're sat here with machinery that's pretty much automated, computerized, precision engineering, and it's just been a game changer. So for us, we knew to play on a global platform from Kenya, we must find out how they do what they do and do the same here, as opposed to going outside and doing it outside. So we were very clear, we are playing on the global scale. What do we need to do? Grow organically, yes, we've come from very far. We still have a long way to go, but every day, every month, we strive to be better.
You've spoken about being a global brand. What do you think really differentiates a company that is able to scale globally and one that is not able to do so?
Several factors. Also depends on what the vision of the business is, number one. However, more than that, it's, for us, we have to understand the trading blocks. People talk about this, we may not understand it. We're able to export our products within the EAC and the COMESA countries duty exempt, because we buy our local materials and we manufacture locally. Most people don't understand that you can take advantage and grow your business like that. People imagine that to scale, even within the region, it takes like 100 years. Literally within year 3, we were exporting containers.
What is one challenge that, if it was up to you, you would like to address that entrepreneurs face both in Kenya and in the region?
I can summarize it by just something I've been reflecting on and speaking about this week. We're challenged in several things and blessed at the same time as a continent. However, for this week, I've just been reflecting and saying, I wish the bankers, the taxman, and the politician and business consultants could do a 6-month internship compulsory in an SME business. Because I believe from that, different products will come through. They will understand that it's not because we're disorganized, we don't understand what our product is. The daily challenges end up making us not being able to achieve what we should achieve. For example, electricity. Any given day where we are sat today, we have power issues. We keep repairing machines even though we have all the UPSs. We have brownouts. We've had to buy a generator because we cannot afford to only have one machine working. So those costs on a daily basis, it's just unbearable sometimes. So for me, I say, if we can have it compulsory, because they tell us we need to go to business school, we need to understand numbers. Wonderful. They need to come and do an internship for 6 months with the local SMEs in the region, and then maybe we'll start seeing them being a bit more accommodating or understanding and some more supportive, because that's what we need.
How do you define being an entrepreneur?
It's about making an impact. It's about changing people's lives through what you do. The team I have here has grown. We've seen them grow. We've seen their families. We've met their families. We've seen their children being able to go to school, not because they have our product, but because through what we do, they're able to earn a decent living, improve their lives. And that for me is entrepreneurship.
Who are some of the entrepreneurs that you look up to?
Wow. On my number one list is Mark Zuckerberg. Not because of anything else, but the fact that he's such a visionary. Such a visionary. I mean, the number of things they do, people imagine it's probably just one side. But I follow him religiously, and I think, how did he imagine to dream so big? Was he not afraid of, and how do you even have such a big dream? So for me, I admire entrepreneurs who have big vision.
How about an African example?
It'll have to be a tag team of James Moria and his beautiful wife, Joanne. We went to their beautiful, beautiful development in Anyuki called Mayan. And I just sat there, I just said, this is visionary. I admire them as a couple. My husband and myself are in this business. And I looked at them and asked her, how did you imagine this? So those are, to me locally, I'd talk about a husband and wife team who I admire greatly for having that vision.
Now we're already speaking about what's going on in the East African region. What are some of your opinions about the entrepreneurship space, given that it has changed dramatically over the past few decades? And do you find us to be an enterprising people?
Oh, most definitely. Absolutely. I think I keep looking at the positive side, as you said earlier, and I just think it's a blank canvas. I'm an artist. So I keep looking at it and thinking, look at this canvas, and every day the different entrepreneurs in the region have a paintbrush and a palette of paint, and they're painting their picture. I remember trying to get a passport and in town, and these guys take your pictures outside almost, and they dash under a tree, and you come back a few minutes later. I'm just like, that is what you call convenience. You know, that's for me an Uber moment in passport photos, correct, right? Yeah. Because it's just where you are under the tree. I don't know where they go and wash them, as we say. But we have so much going for us. When we call them border borders, people call them a menace. I think it's brilliant that we're able to get stuff taken, bought, transported. Because of the border riders, yes, they could be more organized. But honestly, it's bringing efficiency to us. I mean, everybody who should be on M-Pesa, in my opinion, and this is not a plug-in for the company behind M-Pesa, but it's so convenient that I remember buying vegetables for 2 years from the market, never met the lady, send my list on WhatsApp, payment on M-Pesa, delivered on a border. I mean, it works so well. I think we're so enterprising. Yeah, it excites me to be in the region. It really does.
You've had a very successful 7 years, ups and downs that many people might not know more about the downs and the ups. Met Michelle Obama, which everyone, of course, talks about. What are some of the mistakes that you have made along your journey, if any at all?
There have been so many. So many. Some of the mistakes we made were not understanding the region enough. I did not travel the region or my continent. I find that a big mistake. I really should have done that more. Been doing it recently, hoping to do more this year. Some of the mistakes we made was not understanding the entire value chain. Because yes, you can have amazing designs, but if you don't know from raw material to everything you need to final product, more knowledge of that in the market. I find that another mistake I made earlier. We're learning that now. Again, there's no regrets in this journey of entrepreneurship, none at all. But those are things you think and wish, I wish I'd done that before. Maybe I wouldn't have burnt as much as I did then. But again, it is a lesson, and that's why you have to learn them. Yeah.
And somewhat similar, what are some of the sacrifices that you've had to make? You're a mother, you're a wife. You came into a space that no one really was working in. What are some of the sacrifices that you had to make?
Like, my children always wish I could be home on time, pick them from school. They say other moms do it, why don't you? And I have to keep telling them I love them the same, if not more. It's just not possible. And I feel bad. I travel. I feel bad to leave them, but I'm just like, you know what? This is also for you. Mama needs to do this. And I keep telling them that because you have to work hard. So those are sacrifices you make. I probably wear the same pair of shoes all the time because you just think, am I buying that new pair of shoe or am I buying material? Am I traveling on holiday or do I have salaries to pay? So this is not an amazing, fancy location again. You make a sacrifice and commit and say, you know what, we're going to invest in it regardless because we can see the future of it. So right now, the road is imperfect. There are so many challenges. It's been leaking this week because the rain has come hard in this region. And you're just like, you know what? We made the sacrifice. We know it's going to be long haul. Let's just go with it.
What keeps you going? This is not an easy journey you're on. So what keeps you going? What motivates you?
Remembering why. Why did I start this? And I know I can make a difference. I will make a difference, but not alone again. And I remember I have a team. I'm part of the team. So every day when I think I might give up, I remember them. I'm like, I can't give up. We're in this together. And every day I think the impact I make today may be small, but eventually it will be big. And I just think that's the biggest satisfaction. It's never about money. I just think I've made an impact. I've made a difference in somebody's life, in my life. And that's what keeps me going every day. Will I leave the world a better place?
In this space, in this time right now, there's a huge buzz around entrepreneurship, innovators, and all of that. But not everyone takes the leap into entrepreneurship. What do you believe is the main differentiating factor between entrepreneurs and those who are perhaps employed by other people?
I don't know. I've never been employed, so I cannot speak with much authority. I've always run my own business from university. But I also believe that those who have to be employed. Again, I'm completely unemployable, and which is sometimes not a good thing.
Meaning what?
Because I've never even written a CV. How would I know how to apply for a job? And I don't think I'd last a week. I'd probably be fired.
Because?
Because I'd just be like, but why can't we do it like this? And it's just, yeah. So, but I think there's everybody who needs that space. But sometimes I wish that people who are employed would actually adopt a mindset of an entrepreneur. Because at the end of the day, even those in an employment need to think almost like an entrepreneur for the business to do well. So sometimes that's the only difference I find, that the mindset is of, okay, I have a job. It's 8 to 5. You leave, you go. Whereas an entrepreneur, there's no 8 to 5.
As you just mentioned, you have always been self-employed. What other business or businesses do you think one day you'll venture into? The world is your oyster. There's so much choice. What are some of the things that you think, I can see myself getting into that?
Maybe running a school. Maybe owning a school. Maybe running a school. I sometimes think I'll teach. I want to specialize in early childhood development. I want to be a psychologist for kids, a child psychologist, but specializing in art therapy. So those are actually things I've been thinking about, but amongst all the other many things, there's no time. So let's just do this one for now.
So you mentioned Mark Zuckerberg is an entrepreneur that you look up to. In terms of actual businesses, what are some global businesses that you really admire and why?
I look at like Unilever as a business, or Kraft Foods. And I imagine that their target, they're very clear on who they're looking at, and the brands within them. Until I started understanding branding, I was like, wow, you're a household goods brand. What does that mean? Your shampoos, some of the food, stuff in your pantry is made by them. And for me, I look at and I say, how come we don't build brands as a people here? My crush company for this week has been Amazon. I was like, Amazon? You've got a food business, you're delivering wardrobes to people to try on clothes for a week. I was like, how? Who are you people? And I just think it's amazing.
Thinking about the young, the next generation that are looking at you, watching you, being inspired by you, what advice would you give to first-time entrepreneurs? And it actually doesn't have to be young. I don't know why I said young. Anyone, for a first-time entrepreneur, what advice would you give?
The biggest asset you'll bring to the business as a first-time entrepreneur is the belief in yourself, because it's not going to be easy. That's a fact. There'll be naysayers. There'll be your own voices in your head every day telling you, nah, you made a mistake. There'll be people telling you it's not possible. I've had people ask me, why? You think you're brand X? Why would you imagine you can do it? And so you have to believe in yourself and almost shut off the noises and just let people's mouths go on and just yourself do what you need to do and just allow yourself to fail. Yeah.
We were speaking about intra-Africa trade and the bottlenecks that come with it. If you were in a position that could really tackle some of those constraints, what would you focus on to increase the amount of intra-Africa trade?
I think I would highlight the benefits of trading with ourselves. Yes, we know from logistics it's hard, but if we really, really understood what the benefits would be for all of us and had somebody explain that to more of us, to see that we can improve as a continent by trading amongst ourselves, then the other bottlenecks would actually go away. If we understood the domino effect, the positive of us trading with each other, I think that would be a thing of the past. You go to places, you find them now discovering sharing. I'm like, but we share. It's a must, we share. It's not, it's not something you do because it's good for your business. We actually share culturally. So there's so many things that's positive about us as a people from the continent that I think it's exciting. I just wish I could live forever and ever to see how that will happen.
What are 3 values that you adhere to live by?
God. Honesty. I believe in honesty. I believe in integrity. Hard work and loyalty. Because even at work, in family, in homes, you have to be loyal. You have to be loyal. You have to be committed. Yeah.
How do you balance motherhood, marriage, and a business?
There's absolutely no balance. Don't let anybody lie. There's no balance. You drop the ball all the time. You're like, oops, I've forgotten my children in school. Sometimes I love my husband. I'm like, Jenny, I'm just so tired to even talk. And there's no balance. It's just every day. It's like a seesaw. It's a seesaw, and again, you need a support system around you. When I can, I try and be a best mom, a best wife, a best me. But it's not possible to have a balance at all. Yeah.
Okay, last question, I promise. Who would you say has been the most influential person in your life up to now?
Both my parents. My mom passed away years ago, but my dad, his outlook to life of, okay, this is the challenge, deal it. There's no time for crying, deal it. And also, don't be afraid of taking on the challenge, but at the same time, very encouraging of us as a family, but also of himself, what he's done, achieved, lost, and still goes on, and having a very positive outlook.